All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order for the April 8th, 2025 Edge Charter Academy regular board meeting. I'd like to note that all board members are present. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have any changes to the agendas?
We do, President Bo. We have the number 2.01, the honor band recognition. We are going to move that to 6:30 with the YCJUSD agenda. If the board would please do that.
Okay, so can I get a motion for approval with changes for the agenda?
I move.
Second.
And with board member, oh my gosh. I was gonna say Regina, and board member the first and board member Avila with the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Moving on to recognition, so 2.0. Line, it's
3.01 is the International Baccalaureate Program student program. And I believe Mr. Mead is doing a 4-part series.
3 parts.
3 parts, and this is the second of the 3 parts. And so, Mr. Mead.
That's right. So last month, we were able to kind of give an overview of the IB program, and we're going to kind of break it down to the middle years program, or the MYP, which is grades 6 to 8. And we're lucky tonight to have some of our CECA staff and students here tonight to do that. So I'm going to invite them on up.
Good evening, President, Code, members of the board, Superintendent Beeks and Cabinet. I'm Kristen Bernier, and I'm the MYP coordinator at CECA. So we want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to share a little bit about our middle years program, and it involves 225 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students at CECA. Some of the teachers and students are here tonight to explain how our IB program is centered around international mindedness, using the imagery of the world. And so we have here first our academics, which we are saying is our California standards and our IB standards. And we're identifying that as our land and our foundation. And then second, our leadership and our enrichment opportunities, which promote personal connections that we are identifying as our water. And third, our acts of service, which go above and beyond the school day, that we are identifying as our air.
Hi, my name is Sarah Gray, and I am a special education teacher with the foundational principle that all students are general education students first. CECA MYP operates our special education program with full inclusion. This provides diverse learners access to our IB curriculum while still meeting their needs. Our special education students are not separated. One of the ways that we can accomplish this is through co-teaching. Mr. Dawson and I co-teach one section of 8th grade English. And this helps with the student to teacher ratio and allows for more individual attention and support. We employ various teaching methods, such as alternating who is leading the lesson, station teaching, and parallel instruction. Like an improv troupe, we inadvertently deploy the yes and mode of collaboration. We work well together because we are constantly building on each other's ideas, reflecting on our own strategies, our curriculum, and discussing how to best support our students. As co-teachers, we each have expertise based on our credentials and our strengths, and we both have a clear expectation of what our roles are in the classroom. We respect and trust each other with our model of, oh yeah, let's try that, which invites a collaborative and open-minded working relationship. We know that our extra effort and attention ensures that all students can actively participate, feel the sense of belonging, and achieve academic and social growth in the same learning environment.
Hi, I'm Ron Dawson. I'm the 8th grade language and literature and individuals and societies teacher at CECA. The CECA MYP, our middle years program, utilizes an online program called Toddle, which keeps track of our IB units. All teachers are required to have IB disciplinary units, aka subject-specific units, which address many areas, including key concepts, global context, inquiry questions, subject objectives, approaches to learning, state standards, and many, many more things. They are lofty, but they ensure that our teaching for our students, they learn skills that they'll use within the classroom as well as outside the classroom when they leave. We're also required to have interdisciplinary units. These are units created between different core subject levels with common formative and summative assessments. For example, I have an interdisciplinary unit with my another teacher on staff called Mr. Cauldron, who teaches science. And together we created this unit in which I teach persuasive writing techniques and he teaches content level, specifically this unit we did genetic engineering. And the students' final summative assessment was to write a persuasive essay for or against genetic engineering. And the purpose of this is it shows that students that no matter what age, how old you are, get to work together with others and that all learning is interconnected. Although we have a lot going on already at CECA, we still find time for unique learning experiences. Each year we do a pumpkin chunkin' day in which our students rotate through classrooms and learn subject-specific content about pumpkins. And at the end of the day, we launch donated pumpkins using a catapult. At the end of the year, the MYP students participate in a mystery day organized by Mrs. Gray, in which they solve a mystery using critical thinking skills by going to different stations where our staff is teaching, dressed up in fun costumes. Being an MYP CECA teacher is hard work, but it's fun as you get to try out inventive approaches to education. And finally, we have the MYP news distributor. Each month we send out a parent square message to parents to show them and let them know which IB profiles, standards, objectives, etc. are going on in our classrooms. This informs our community of what students are learning each month, and so that all are involved in the IB process. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Isabella Perez and I'm an 8th grade student.
Hello, my name is Charlotte Gray and I'm also an 8th grade student.
Our middle year programs offer language acquisition, which is Spanish 1 for 7th and 8th grade students. This offers the students at CECA a chance, so when they go into high school, they can get into Spanish too. This is very important to me as someone who's mixed Mexican and American to learn more about my culture and be able to communicate more clearly with my family members.
We have performing and visual arts classes offered, which include band, choir, art, and musical theater. Both me and Izzy have been a part of the musical theater club for 5 years now, and I think it prepares us very well for public speaking in high school.
Many classes have incorporated building thinking classrooms as a method of increasing student collaboration, engagement, and learning using vertical whiteboards.
Our school offers both honors English language arts and honors math classes for students. Our school has a chapter with California Junior Scholarship Federation, or CJSF, and which our students, our 7th and 8th grade students, apply to become members for recognizable grades, citizenship, and community service.
Lastly, we offer the pre-SATs for 8th grade students, which means Charlotte both took. I think it's a great opportunity to get ahead for high school.
My name is Zeke Bernier. I have been attending Competitive Edge Charter Academy for almost 8 years and am now in 7th grade. Our MYP students have a variety of electives offered during their school day. We have intervention classes for both ELA and math. We have an elective wheel with 3 trimester classes: art, financial literacy, and public speaking. We have both beginner and advanced band classes. We also provide service electives. Students are required to apply and be selected for our web and yearbook classes. In addition to applying, students must interview for our Grizzly News and Students Leaders classes. This is my second year in Student Leaders, and I find great pleasure collaborating with my peers to serve our students in fun, interactive ways.
Hello, my name is Avery. I'm an 8th grader who has been at CECA since kindergarten now, and I'm here to talk about our clubs, and/or extracurriculars. MYP offers multiple enrichment activities for our students to participate in during lunch or after school. These include Best Buddies, Bear With Me, Dungeons and Dragons, Game Club, Book Club, Cleanup Crew, Good News, Mandarin, Guitar, Choir, Homework, Science Fair, Yoga, Pickleball, and Spelling Bee. I'm a proud member of our Dungeons and Dragons Club and Bear With Me Club. Along with being president of our Best Buddies chapter, I had a lead role in Annie, our musical theater production this year. All of our MYP students at the end of the year experience an overnight science camp trip. Next month in May, our 6th graders will attend Mile High Pines for 4 days and 3 nights, and our 7th and 8th graders will attend Catalina Environmental Leadership Program for 3 days and 2 nights. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Arush, and I'm in 8th grade. 8th graders have an obligation to lead a Friday family of 9 students, made up of 1 student from each level, in kinder through 8th grade. 8th graders lead their family bi-weekly in an activity related to better serving one of our various community service partners. All MIP students are encouraged to complete 20 hours of community service per school year. We have many opportunities to complete hours with CECA service partners like Best Buddies, a Relay for Life, Hydroponic Garden, Adopt a Trail, YAPS, Ukaipa senior centers, in addition to serving other communities outside of school. I have completed a lot of hours this year. A majority of that has come from the Adopt a Trail program and our community project.
Hi, my name is Andrew Martinez and I'm an 8th grade student at CECA. All 8th graders have the opportunity for 6 weeks to complete a community service project, which includes researching a chosen topic, planning an action, taking action, and reflecting on an action. I'd like to share the impact that my group and I were able to make during this project. My group and I researched and learned about the dangers of concussions and how to prevent them. Our plan was to help our CECA flag football team by purchasing at least 15 helmets to both keep them safe and to give them the opportunity to play, as the league has a requirement now that players have to have helmets to participate. The action that we took was hosting a paint night to raise money, placing a donation bin in the office for lightly used helmets, working with the PTO to put a link on their website for any donations, and we also gave an awareness slide show to the 5th graders so that they can learn about concussion safety and the dangers of concussions. In our reflection, I realized that this project has taught me a lot, not only about concussions and helmet safety, but also about teamwork and how to take action about something that actually matters. I also learned that even as students, we can make a huge impact on our school community. It felt really good to help our school flag football team and knowing that our actions may help keep someone safe. In addition, I learned the importance of planning, staying organized, and communicating while working toward a goal. In total, we raised over $900 and had 7 helmets donated, which exceeded our goal. With the extra money, we are planning to buy new sports jerseys for other CECA sports teams. Overall, this experience made me feel a lot more confident and proud of what we accomplished during the community project.
Any questions? Oh, good. Thank you.
Can we get them all around the block? Yeah, absolutely. So moving on to, item number 4.01, do we have any public comment? We do not have, then we get to listen to our wonderful advisory committee report for 5.01. Welcome.
Well, I also have to give a shout out to our students and staff of NYP. Many of those students I've known since kindergarten, and watching them grow, it's wonderful to have seen them present. So at this month's meeting, we talked about the CAS testing dates by grade level and what students and teachers are doing leading up to those state tests. Teachers are using the state testing system to review content from the year. The state test can be a challenge, as you know, but it's also a great opportunity to show what you know and celebrate learning and hard work. Next, we talked about the Step Up writing program as a means to build continuity in our writing instruction from grade level to grade level, and what training could possibly look like for teachers and the overall cost of it. And finally, we discussed the NG solar panel project that's starting this week at CECA and includes movement of some bins and the closure of a part of the upper field as they're putting it together. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you so much for that. Moving on to our consent calendar, item number 6.01. Does anyone have any items for consideration off of our consent calendar? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Move approval.
And a second?
I second.
With a motion by Board Member Bannister, a second by Board Member Cruz. Can I get all in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to number 7, Superintendent Communications and the additional administrative information, Mr. Mead.
I just want to say thank you to the staff and students for taking the time to do that tonight and putting that together. You guys did a great job. Families, thank you for bringing your students.
Anything else down here?
I would share that Dr. Anderson and Mr. Scholes and myself had the chance to go to visit CECA yesterday, and they were energetic. I mean, I don't know what they did for spring break, but everybody was so happy to be back. We got a chance to talk to people as they came in to eat their lunch, and it was really fun. It was nice to see all the energy, and it's 8 weeks to go, so you can do it. It was really nice conversations.
And moving on to board member comments, Board Member Conlon.
No.
Board Member Cruz.
I was able to go to CECA, not with superintendent and cabinet, but I was able to sit in on some community projects and the students that gave them. I was so impressed on their actions of what they did, and the topics were all randoms and what thought process they put into it, and also the support that the panel gave them and gave them some insights on how they can improve or encouragement of what great things that they did. So CECA students, you are amazing. And the hydroponic lettuce, I think it was already harvested already, and they said it was great. I didn't have any, but I saw the seeds at a couple of weeks before, and they said that it was already. I said, "Where's the garden?" And they said, "We already ate it." So great, great, and keep up the great work from the hydroponics. Thank you.
Board Member Bannister.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Just, you guys did an amazing job speaking in public. It's always a really good quality to have. You guys did amazing.
Yes, that was beautiful, very eloquent. Well done to all of you students up there. I would actually love to sit and listen to you guys speak again. That was beautiful. Great job, teachers. Great job, parents, on that. For that is all we have, I believe. So we will adjourn at 6:22. All right, at this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. for the April 8th, 2025 Ucaipa Joint Unified School District Regular Board of Education meeting. And I'd also like to invite Trent Kirky up to the podium to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Trent is a ninth grader at Ucaipa High School.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
All right, just for a fun fact, this is not Trent's first time coming here to do that. What grade were you in the first time you did that, Trent?
I think
Seventh grade? Yeah. All right, well, welcome and thank you so much. At this time, I'd like to take note that all board members are present and do I have any changes to the agenda?
No changes to the agenda.
Seeing there are none, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as written?
I'll move.
And I get a second? Second. Motion was a motion by board member Avila, second by board member Bannister. All those in favor? Aye. Chair votes aye, the motion passes with a 5-0 vote. We do not have anything to report out from the session. And moving on to the fun things, we're going to use item number 4.01, human resources.
Thank you, President Bo, members of the board and cabinet, and thank you to all of those who attended this evening. This is one of my unique pleasures as a part of the human resources team to celebrate our site teachers of the year. These are the individuals who were selected by their school sites and their peers and their school teams to represent the excellent teaching and education going on at their school. If I can invite the board to come up in front of the dais and we'll greet our people as I call them up. And for those of you in the audience, while the board is coming up, please know this is definitely a special treat for all of us. These teachers who we're going to recognize, there are 14 of them, are truly the exemplary educators in our schools. Obviously, it's not just these 14, but these are the teachers who are the veterans who create those amazing experiences in our schools. These are the teachers who are role models for our baby educators who are new in the profession. They're seeing and learning from the very best. These are the people who sign up for those committees when you need that person to sign up. It's amazing. All grade levels, we have everything today from our elementaries, middle schools, high schools, even adult school and high school. So in generally alphabetical order, I'm going to call your name and ask you to come up. Please know some of our individuals this evening are either on maternity or paternity leave, so they might not all be able to make it today. First up, from Calamasa Elementary School, the amazing special education teacher, Maria Alsup. Maria. He's due any day, I think, so. She did have a baby. Okay, that's still a lot of work. All right, next from Ucaipa High School. Ucaipa High School is amazing, and they actually have a shared honor this year, which is, I think, special unto itself. These two men actually, one of them teaches science, one of them is a special education teacher who blends and does an inclusion model throughout the day at Ucaipa High School. So I'm going to invite up Mr. Barcina and Mr. Matson. Come on down. All right, I have the pleasure of working with this individual for many, many years. She's amazing. Her classrooms are just great. She does so many wonderful things for students at Wildwood. Let's recognize Serena Biggs. From Ridgeview Elementary School. She's really good at what she does. Jordan Comerford. Jordan. If you want to see an amazing TK classroom, transitional kindergarten, that's the 2-year kindergarten program now. Michelle Dawson is amazing as a. Come on down, Michelle. All right, this amazing educator is a Mustang. I've had opportunity to work with her. She used to be a preparer professional. She did great things there, and she said, "Hey, then I'll teach them." And Julie is great. Let's invite down Julie Gutchover. Scott arrows on the floor. All right, there's a Viking in the house. Another amazing teacher. I love the way she teaches reading to her kiddos. Let's invite up Gwen Flowers. Can't forget Parkview. This individual does so much great work as part of it being an Eagle. Let's invite up Deanna Hendrickson. Deanna. I don't think this next individual is here tonight because she's actually teaching. We have an amazing Ukaipa adult school program. Most of those programs or classes are in the evening time, but let's give recognition to Tracy Mars. She is here. Wow.
I can stand.
Oh, great. All right. We have a charger in the house. Priscilla's amazing. Priscilla Martin, Chapman Heights, come on down. Takes a special individual to teach an alternative schools, PE, a lot of amazing talents that this individual brings. Let's recognize from Green Valley, Jamie Ramirez. Oakview High School. This individual also teaches at the adult school, but she was recognized by her peers at Oakview. Let's invite up the amazing English teacher, Kathy Schmidt. She's teaching at the adult school tonight. That's right. Thank you, Tracy. And to wrap us up, an amazing educator at CECA, the incredible Kelly Warren. How are you? Just so you know, as we're having Kelly go through these individuals, actually, we have a district-wide teacher of the year analysis. I guess we'll announce who the district-wide teacher of the year is in August, which is our tradition. Also, among that group, these individuals have the opportunity to go on to the county-wide teacher of the year or statewide teacher of the year. So this might just be the first step on their amazing journey. But let's give all of these 14 a huge round of applause. Mr. Rowley is going to corral us over here, so if we can come to the center of the dais.
Back to your left. And then all you guys start filling in the front.
And folks, if you want to trickle in behind Lance, you can certainly do that. Get your Kodak moment. It's totally fine.
You guys keep coming. Yes, you guys kind of like. Sorry. I'll be out of you guys' way, 2 seconds.
No.
1, 2, 3. Okay, everybody else have turn.
Now's your chance, don't be shy.
It's Kathy J. Kathy J.
Congratulations, everybody.
All right, now moving on to item number 4.02, we get to recognize some of our wonderful band students for their participation or their recognition in the San Bernardino County Honor Band Student. Oh.
That was. Never mind, I got my answer. They're coming. All right. Bye. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, they're on the way down. All right, bye.
She's up there too, then I guess.
Actually, she's right there, I guess. She said stop and it's freaking out. Is that what we're here?
I told them they were gonna go to the episode. It's right in one of missing.
Yeah.
Due to the crowd control, our honor band students have been up in our Family Learning Center enjoying some cookies and lemonade. So as our Teachers of the Year in their celebration and move out, our band students will be moving in. Just take some more. That's you stand up. I'll check that right now. How are you doing? I know. I felt great. If Keely is in the office, if Keely is in the boardroom, would you come forward, Keely?
I've seen them.
Well, I know, but I didn't have to go through the life.
Yeah.
Maybe because my class. I don't want to.
So in order to start our recognition for honor band, we're going to ask for our teachers of the year to celebrate out in the parking lot, or the patio, or. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Thank you, board, and thank you to the audience for allowing us to have some time to move on to our next celebration. It is that time of year. We're very excited to honor our honor band students, and so we're going to start with Competitive Edge Academy and Mr. Mead.
All right, thank you for having us here this evening. We're super excited. This is actually our second year with band. Last year we started with about 20 students, and this year it has exploded to almost 50 students. And the three students that we're going to recognize this evening have been playing their instruments for 7 months since the beginning of this school year. So it's tremendous work that Mr. Bata and Mrs. Collins have done to not only build engagement within the program, but to get kids excited about learning an instrument. And so let's recognize the first student is not here tonight, but I just want to make sure we get his name out there, and that's Lambert Huang. Sawyer McCown. Sawyer. And Carlos Roque.
We want picture.
Let's do this one.
Wanna do my school?
All right, so you guys are gonna stand in that way. Come back over here. You are the most important.
Right, next one, go look happy. Picture it's facing my way.
All in front of me. So we'll do that.
All the brothers. Good deal, you can insert this. Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Next, we'd like to have Mr. Paul Kane, our music conductor.
Ladies and gentlemen, firstly, parents, thank you again for giving up yet another evening to be here. I know it's one other thing to ask of you at a very busy time of year, so thank you for taking the time to make sure that your student is here to be recognized for their accomplishments. I am actually one of the representatives for the County Music Educators Association. I coordinate the middle school honor band. There are actually 3 levels. There's an elementary school level, which is grades 4 through 6. This group is by director recommendation, so we just fill out a sheet saying our students are capable of skills ABC, XYZ, and then they kind of get picked by lottery, which is unfortunate. Not every student that deserves to make that ensemble is accepted. It is what it is. But in 7th and 8th grade in our middle school honor band, students are able to audition. This process looks like learning a piece of music that they have to prepare. They prepare some scales, and they also have to sight read something they've never performed before in front of a judge. They usually get about 20-30 seconds to look it over, and then they just go. And then our 3rd level in the county is our high school, which is grades 9 through 12, which is quite a bit more competitive because it's across 4 grades. These students, these freshmen, are basically middle schoolers competing against high schoolers. And it's a pretty taxing endeavor to prepare for this and to make it. And across the county, I forget how many. In the middle school, we had over 350 students audition this year. And UKIPA had about 12% of the ensemble. So out of about 90 students, we had about, well, I guess it was more than that, like 12, 13 kids. And the high school, I believe, had 4. But again, this is across every high school in the county, 4 grade levels. So thank you for that, listening to that little spiel. From Mesa View, we want to recognize for their achievements, Christos Ayala. You can come forward. Julian Dio. Aiden Clark. Nathaniel Davidson. Colin Doherty, I don't think could make it tonight. He's pumping the Little League game. Mia Gomez. Zachary Hernandez, who I don't think made it this evening. Adam Hughes. Eddie Kane. Zachary Alone. Lucy Mouse. Paige Niles. Kayla Scheckman. Kimberly Server. Ty Thornton. So, Missy Velasco. And Cammy Williams. Look in front of me, I'm so tall. Open the. Hey, look good, or else. Oh.
Keep holding, keep smiling. Few more, few more.
We can start filling over here, guys. Make 2 rows, okay? 2 rows, 2 rows. 2 rows, guys. Go ahead, go ahead.
Next, it's nice to invite Mr. Stockman, our band director from Parkview Middle School.
Okay, we have quite a few students that were not able to be here, so I'll just call their names at the beginning. River Fredis. Alan Miller. And Kai Walmart. And then here this evening, I have Rachel Gilly. And Logan Sturdivant.
You can come up if you need a better picture. Thank you. And all the musical careers funnel into Yucaipa High School. We welcome Mr. Robert Pressler.
Thank you. Just a little word about the high school component. But first, before I do that, can we just recognize too, our middle school directors here are both not only outstanding in their programs, and we're, you know, a lot of the successes and growth in the last couple of years can be traced directly to their leadership and great training. But both of them are highly involved and very no pun intended, instrumental in the County Music Educators Association. Mr. Kane being the representative for years and years to coordinate all of the things that go into the middle school honor band component, and Mr. Stockman as their treasurer for years and years, helping them be in good financial situations. So the fact that both of our middle school teachers are so active and dependent upon at the county level for our music. So can you have a round of applause for that, folks? So the high school is as Mr. Kane mentioned, just about the most competitive part because it has almost kind of more people auditioning for fewer spots across 4 grades. And so it is college level audition solos and college level music that they're playing. So we're extremely proud. We have 4 students from Yucaipa High School make it into this year's honor band. And we also had 1 student make it into the honor orchestra. He plays string bass in the band program and has been taking violin lessons from Amy Crippen, who is a violin teacher here in Yucaipa. So we're excited to have students represented from both. So from the high school, we have represented Trent Kirkus, Austin Lewis, James Wood could not make it tonight, but let's have a round of applause for James. County on Orchestra, Rigel Sprague.
All right, now everybody, let's all try to. My life's. Okay, now going for. Are we good? Smaller kids in front.
Give me time.
All right, guys, don't be shy. We'll all be in high school one day together. All right. We're gonna read out. Oh. It's all, never wants to. Nope. 1, 2, 3. Don't move because your parents are gonna get mad.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're good.
All right, congratulations. Thank you to our teachers. Congratulations.
I'm not. Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's actually different here. It's right there.
All right, that's always one of my favorite parts of the evening is definitely recognizing the wonderful things that both our teachers and our students do. Moving on to another highlight, we would like to Superintendent Beeks, do you have any information? Base view stars.
I do. Thank you so much. Ironically, I had the opportunity when our band directors coordinated a scoring opportunity for the bands to perform. And so at Mesa View Middle School, they had people come in to sit and listen to each of the bands and give them ratings, just like they were in competition. And so during that time, I had the opportunity on a break to go visit the STARS program, which is our after-school care program that is partnered with the city of Yucaipa. And I have to admit, I spent a little more time in the STARS program than the music program because I had the opportunity to speak with the team there. And as I said, we partner with the city of Yucaipa, and I know Sarah Martinez is here. Sarah, are you? There she is. Sarah is one of the people that run the STARS program along with Megan Wolf. And so we appreciate the work that you do. She also is the leader of the Youth Advisory Committee for the city. So we partner in many different ways. But what I had the opportunity to do is listen to the extended learning and the opportunities that go on at the Mesa View program through the STARS program from a great leader. And so what I would like to do is have the Board of Education come listen to Pearl Vargas, Pearl Vargas Denault, who has, so this was the thing. I want to just say this. I said to Sarah, we need her to work in our district for us, not for you. And she said, that's the plan. The plan is to give people the experience in working with kids. And then it's our job to, it's Mr. Stoll's job to make sure that they have a career in education. And she is off to an amazing start. So welcome here.
So as Ms. Fink said, my name is Pearl Denault. I'm the site supervisor for Mesa View Middle School STARS After School program, and I'm really excited to be here today. So just to give a quick introduction of my staff. So I have 3 core staff members that work with the students over at Mesa View, and some of them have been with the program for over 3 years. So they've worked with some of these kids from the elementary school levels all the ways into middle school. So we have a dedicated group of individuals here who are very committed to ensuring that our kids have a safe atmosphere to come after school, emotionally, mentally, physically, and that our kids are receiving that enhancement to their academic day. So for a little information, we have approximately 75 registered students. Daily we'll see anywhere from 35 to 45, just kind of depending on the day, the kids scheduling, any programs that the kids are in. Typically, as we get closer to the summer and the days warm up, we'll see closer to 60 students in attendance most of the Thursday, Fridays. And we're very proud of the program that we've introduced to the students there. So we do have academic enhancement. We offer some ELA activities for the kids, including creative writing prompts, critical thinking strategies. We work with the students on book clubs and to promote their reading and comprehension. We just finished a unit with Mr. Limoncello's Escape from Mr. Limoncello's library, in which we partnered with Mesa View Library and created a library challenge day. So the kids had to go through solve all kinds of different, phonetic puzzles. They got to play games. They got to create some of the games and really just have fun tying the reading comprehension and the book skills into just an engaging and challenging activity. Our students are currently learning American Sign Language so that they have an enhancement to kind of some of their sensory skills. They're learning a second language, as well as being able to boost their ability to understand body language, body cues, to kind of read the room and each other and to understand boundaries. We also provide read-along activities. We encourage our students to participate and engage with each other in opportunities for public speaking. We work with them on life skills. We'll go to the next slide. So some of our partnerships have included the Friday Night Live program from San Bernardino County. At the middle school level, it's called Club Live. Through this partnership, our kids are learning leadership skills. They're learning, everything from substance prevention or substance abuse prevention to understanding how to do things like coordinate businesses and interact with their students on campus. For example, our students are getting ready to put together a kindness grams business. So they're creating a fundraising activity. They get to understand how to create a product, how to market a product, how to, set it out there, and then how to understand when finances come in, the budgeting process, everything that goes behind the scenes. So we're building their entrepreneurial mindsets. We partnered with the UKIPA Performing Arts Center. Our students that are more artistically inclined have been given certain challenge projects throughout the year. One of them was to give us their take on Baba Yaga, which is, a very popular Russian and Slavic folk character. The students were challenged to give us their interpretation of Baba Yaga's magical house, and that's currently on display at YPAC. If you want to go check it out, we're really proud of the work the kids put in. We partnered with San Bernardino County Animal Control to introduce our students to why it's important, understanding, those types of things, as well as Riverside County Fire, and of course, Mesa View Middle School. So we encourage our students to attend club activities on campus. Again, our partnership with Friday Night Live. We're encouraging those leadership skills and encouraging our students to really take ownership of the choices, decisions, and directions that they choose to head in. And so with the YPAC Performing Arts, our kids, like I said, currently are on display. We do have future partnerships coming up, and we're hoping that our students will be featured there as well. And then Mesa School events. So we do really get involved with our campus activities. My staff and myself will be present during family events, after school nights. Recently during the 5th grade preview days, we want to make sure that our students know we're there, and that our families understand how we serve their students while they're on campus and during the time that they spend with us. Some of the students will spend anywhere from 2 to 6 hours with us after school. So we really want to make sure that the parents know who we are, they know where we are, and that the students are familiar with us on campus, both during the day as well as after school. And these are some of our wonderful students. Thank you.
Thank you, Pearl. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for that information. I didn't realize you guys did so much enrichment. I mean, I did, but I love that you actually identified it for us. So thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions or comments? All right.
Can I add, President Buck, that one of the things that I appreciate and I know Dr. Anderson does as well, is when they're able to connect the curriculum to what is going on at Mesa View. It just makes it seamless, and then students that are having difficulty in certain subject areas, they offer support. And so if students are going to be on campus until 6 p.m., it's nice to be able to have some wonderfully fun activities, some things that are different than what they experience during the school day, but then also to offer the support. So I want to thank the city of YCJUSD. Sarah, thank you so much for your leadership as well. Also Megan for her leadership. I know she's there. Megan, can you stand up? I see that you are there. So thank you so much, because it takes a village to raise all of our children.
Okay, moving on to public comment. Looks like we have one, Mr. Dan Crane. Welcome. Go ahead and step to the podium. Mr. Crane, I'll remind you, sir, that you have 3 minutes. All right.
It's tough to follow all of the recognition. It was wonderful. Madam President, Board of Education, Superintendent Binks, staff, and I guess the public in some ways. I'm just here to comment on an experience that I had at YCJUSD High School 3 weeks ago today. I was asked to participate in the mock interviews put on by the ROP program. I was simply amazed. I probably interviewed roughly 20, maybe a few more than that, 20 students, and there were probably, I don't know, 10 to 15 interviewers. And I would have hired on the spot 6 to 8 of those students. It was just really affirming for me the kind of jobs that you guys are doing, you ladies and guys. I was very impressed. I'm repeating myself intentionally because I don't often get to interact with YCJUSD High School students. I don't get to interact with teens that much anymore. So it was just really neat, and I was really pleased, and I was offered that opportunity to talk with these kids. There were a few, of course, that, you know, came in with their pants down to their knees and chewing gum and wearing hats and all that. But as I mentioned, and again, I want to reaffirm, what it told me is that the product, if you will, of what you folks are doing in setting the policies for this district, and that your staff are doing in enacting those policies, are really demonstrating some outstanding young people who will be going into the world of work. Some of those resumes that I saw, I just went, whoa. Of course, there was also a resume that was a paragraph. So I explained to that student that that was more of a goal setting paragraph than a resume in itself. But in essence, I was talking with my wife about it, and I just felt it was important to tell you directly that what you're doing is pretty darn good. Because that product, again, if you will, like using that term, really demonstrates that these kids are ready to go out there and do good stuff. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for volunteering your time. I appreciate it. And every year that you do that you do volunteer your time, we hope to see you again up here.
It'll be my pleasure.
And I just heard that you are a former school board member, is that correct?
Yes, that was one of the hats that I wore. I was able to sit up there a little bit, and so I kind of have some knowledge of what you're going through and what you do. Yes.
Thank you again, sir.
Sure, my pleasure.
Let's move on to the Colton, the crime rock report. On the highlights of the meeting, in my opinion. Prepared, wow. I'm so prepared. Let me turn my just kidding.
Okay, one of the great things happening with Cry Rock, this was from our meeting last month, that the adult program has a construction maintenance and facilities program. It has 17 students enrolled, so it's really cool because they're expanding the adult programs like that. Construction, yeah, I like that. Let's see what else. Oh, I love this. The student ambassadors visited Parkview Middle School on February 28th and to share the high school CTE pathway experiences. I really like that because the middle schoolers need to know the opportunities and the programs that we have at the high school. So it's nice that they go and share and the kids can see the cool high school kids give that information. So, and then one more thing, during the virtual enterprise program from Yucaipa High School, attended Cal State San Bernardino. It was a VE competition, virtual enterprise competition. And one student won 3rd place in elevator pitch out of 46 students. So you go. All right, that's it for now.
That is actually one of my favorite programs. My daughter went through that as well. So moving on to the student board member report, Mr. Breyer.
Hello, so today I have a report on all the elementary schools within our district. It's a little long, but I'll do my best. So starting off with Chapman Heights Elementary School. So they had their first ever art show with about 142 art pieces and a really large family turnout. It expressed current student, past student, and staff creativity in their artistic abilities. There was stuff like painting, sculptures, graphic design, and a bunch more stuff like that. Then on the next slide, it was Read Across America Week. So students got a really special visit from author Mac Barnett. He presented an assembly, autographed books, and they also had a book character dress up parade and book walk with their students. And then moving on to Calamasa Elementary School. So they are a PBIS school and they are very much pushing their character strong lessons there with their TK through 5th grade, led by Mrs. Elgin. So students learn about responsibility. They also they're working on developing a school-wide common language about positive character traits, which I think is awesome. They had their readathon fundraiser during Read Across America Week, where students were challenged to read as much as they could every single day. And family and friends had the opportunity to contribute donations to support the efforts in reading. And students raised over $6,000, and money will go towards books to support enrichment programs and such like that. They had an imagination machine assembly where the actors from Imagination Machine took the students' submitted short stories, selected a couple of them, and then performed them on stage. During Read Across America Week, students also dressed up as their favorite book characters. And then for Dunlap Elementary, so I was asked to shout out the CNS team as they made a delicious taco meal at Dunlap in March, which all the students really liked. Team project, I believe it's Echelon, came and spoke to the students about cycling and what it takes to be a high-level cyclist. And one of the cyclists was actually a teacher from Montana, so they did a really good job engaging with the students. They also handed out treats from their sponsors, which students always love. And Dunlap will also be having an In-N-Out fundraiser on Monday at 5:30, where the In-N-Out truck will be on campus. So if you can, please come support Dunlap and eat a nice burger. You can either purchase tickets at Dunlap or online. Then on the next slide. So during Read Across America Week, they had the 3rd annual Family Reading Day and had over 120 family members go into the system and read with their children. And Dunlap will be having Enchanted Education come on campus next week, providing enriching cultural arts experience for the students. And for Valley Elementary, so Valley Elementary is wrapping up a really great year. So first, I was asked to talk about Leadership Day 2025. It was a really great showcase of the students at Valley. The community and parents poured in, witnessing firsthand the powerful reasons why showing up each day is really essential for students. The students talked about their WIGs, or wildly important goals, and they also demonstrated their dedication and the incredible progress they're making. Valley attendance is soaring, and they've hit a incredible 95% in the latest report. Yucaipa's wonderful local 7-Eleven at Oakland Road and Yucaipa Boulevard, been owned by Mr. Singh, has been giving the students free Slurpees and hot dogs, which is pretty incredible. And Valley also teamed up with In-N-Out. So every student who achieves perfect attendance for a whole week, their name gets put into a drawing for a chance to get a free hamburger gift card. And every Friday, Valley spotlights 2 shining stars who achieved perfect that week. And then also I was told to say that you are all invited to join Valley for their Friday Flag Synergy at 7:30 on Friday. So come witness the energy of the students, celebrate with the students, and be part of something really special. And then Bridgeview Elementary School. So Good Guys Racing, one of the cycling teams in this year's Redlands Bicycle Classic, came out to speak to the students, demonstrate their skills. They did a really good job representing cycling and responding to all the kids' questions that they had. Then on the next slide. So 13th, 4th, and 5th grade students participated in the site-based science and engineering fair. Of those 3 students, went on to the County Science and Engineering Fair, with 1 winning 2nd place, which is incredible. And 4th and 5th grade students are engaged in collaborative, cognitively demanding learning experiences that integrate social studies, geography, language arts standards, which is awesome. And then Wildwood Elementary School, So I was given a nice little paragraph to read here, so I'll do my best. Wildwood's distinguished recognition can truly be attributed to the daily collective efforts of the entire Hawk team, from the nutritional service workers to campus safety monitors, custodial staff, to the library and office staff. general education teachers and enrichment teachers to special education and support aides, the health tech to the EL support. All of the dedicated employees who contribute meaningfully through their actions and words. Each HAWK team member plays a vital role in the wrapping round of students as each employee so generously shares their personal strengths and ingenious ideas in an effort to inspire and speak life into the lives of each student, essentially giving each student at Wildwood a team of adults invested in their lives as a whole. Personally, knowing each child's individual needs and interests, the HAWK team fosters growth in every student's potentials in academics, interpersonal relationships, confidence, citizenship, and communication. The committed caring adults give such energy and effort to develop students' character, strengthen their resilience and grit, and provide opportunities to excel in a variety of areas within a safe, happy environment that encourages them to attempt hard things and persevere through them. As a high-performing team, the HAWK team works with intentionality and grit to create an environment where every student is empowered to do their best and is supported in becoming the best version of themselves. Then on the next slide. So they also had an art gala where all the students could show off their really amazing talents and gifts. I want to shout out the boys down there that are dressed better than I could ever dress. They look quite dapper. And also I was asked to tell everyone that to consider volunteering at Wildwood to be an adult role model to our Wildwood elementary schoolers. That is it.
Congratulations to Wildwood and the California Distinguished School. That's a major feat to be accomplished there. On the tail end of that, did I miss anyone in public comment that needed to talk tonight? No? Yes, I am. Good?
I was taking a break tonight.
Just double checking. Didn't want to tell. Yeah. Thank you, Joshua. That was wonderful. Very well done. Anybody have any questions or comments for Mr. Brother?
Yeah, thank you. No, but congratulations to Wildwood again. I think they deserve a round of applause.
For discussion action session, section 9, we will have not one is the employment agreement amendment. Does anyone have any questions on this one? I have a motion for approval on 9.01. Move approval. Have a second? A second. I have a motion by Board Member Bannister and a second by Board Member Cruz. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Item number 9.02, the employment agreement amendment, Assistant Superintendent Educational Services. Does anyone have any questions on this one? Discussion, hearing none, do I have a motion for approval? Move approval. A second? A second. With a first and a second, I have all in favor? Aye. Chair votes aye. Motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to item number 9.03, the employment agreement amendment, Assistant Superintendent Human Resources. Do I have any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing none, do I have a motion for approval? Move approval. And a second? A second. With a first and a second by Bannister and Cruz, all those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and that motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Item number 9.04, Superintendent Second Review, Revised Board Bylaw 9240. Board training. Do I have any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing none, do I have a motion for approval? I move to motion. And a second? Second. With the first by Cruz and a second by Clerk Miller. All those in favor? Aye. Chair votes aye. Motion passes with a 5-0 vote. And moving on to 9.05 with Aptigee Rooms Classroom Communication Platform. Do you have any information on this one?
I think Mr. Bradley has some information that he'll share. Mr. Bradley has been working on a platform that would better some of the things that our teachers need to do and allow them to have our student data protected. So Mr. Bradley.
Yeah, correct. So good evening, President Bogue, members of the board, Superintendent Binks, members of cabinet. So currently, last year we were really big. A lot of our teachers were using Remind or Class Dojo, and we kind of tried to phase out Remind because there were some data security issues. And so this school year, it's been mostly Class Dojo, and frankly, Parent Square is a wonderful communication tool that we've adopted across the district for the last 3 years. It's really great for district communication, really great for principal communication, and it's great for classroom communication at the secondary level. But at the elementary level, it lacks sort of that elementary feel. And so a lot of our teachers are using Class Dojo because it aligns with PBIS, so you can award behavior points, take away behavior points. It allows you to set up, basically a news feed for your families. Your families can contact you through it. But right now, we don't own the data. Not that there's any sort of data breach or like our data is out there in the open, but we don't own the data that's within Class Dojo because it's a free program. And our administrative oversight is pretty minimal. So if something were to happen, there's not much we as a district could do. And so Rooms is an equal replacement of Class Dojo. It does everything that Class Dojo does. The only difference is we own the data, and then it syncs with our Aries SIS. So our teachers don't have to go through and manually set up the app at the beginning of every single school year. And then it's also going to change as kids come and go from their classes. And, we're really late in the year, so the intent isn't to, throw it on our teachers right now for them to learn for the next month and a half. It's really for next school year. The reason we're bringing it to board now is we get a $3,000 incentive discount.
What's the SIS?
Student information system.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, living in the education world 24/7. Acronyms galore.
Well, I do remember using Class Dojo when I was in elementary school, so if it's anything like that, I think it's good.
Yeah, Class Dojo is great,
Okay.
but Rooms is even better, guys. Okay.
Perfect.
Right, any other questions, sir? Mr. Brandon? Thank you, sir.
Thanks for keeping us abreast of the thing.
Yeah,
Thank you, Member Banks.
good job finding the discount too. Well done.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any discussion or questions on that particular item? Hearing none, can I get a motion?
Move to approve.
I got a second?
Second.
With a first and a second by Avila Bannister, can I get all in favor?
Oh.
Chair votes aye, that's a 5-0. Motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to 9.06, resolution transfers of appropriations. Does anyone have any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing none, can I get a motion for approval? And a second? A second. I have a first and a second by Clerk Miller. Wow. Wow. A second by Cruz. All those in favor? Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to 9.07, business services. I understand we have some information.
We do. Thank you so much, President Vogue. When you're sitting, working on a board agenda on a Friday when it's due, and you get a great call from Adam Johnson, our maintenance manager, that we got a grant, you get very excited. I think it might have even shed a tear. So we were very excited to get a grant that would help us with the issues we've had when the power goes out at the high school. So a backup battery generator, so to speak. And so the problem is that there was a lot of work that needed to go into accepting this grant, including a timeline of 7 days to respond. So we felt very fortunate that we had a board meeting tonight. Otherwise, we would have been asking for a special board meeting so that we could approve the first exploration of this project. So I'm going to ask Adam Johnson, our maintenance manager, and Dennis Klein, our purchasing and facilities director, to come forward. And they're going to talk a little bit about it. I want to thank Adam for his initial work on after we had the power outages and we realized we really needed to do something, and thank the board for allotting funds towards projects that would keep our phones alive, and hopefully as long as Frontier doesn't go down, our internet alive. And so with all that work, we have an opportunity, and this is just an initial step. So I will share with the board and the public that the initial step we're taking is not a firm commitment, but it's the opportunity to explore it. It was such a tight timeline. We would come back to you with an additional proposal. So once we get an opportunity to work with that with Edison, it is an Edison grant, and just to make sure that, that it's something that will work for the district. So if I may, I would have Adam start with his presentation.
Thank you and good evening. So yeah, power storage, that's what we're talking about tonight. And that conversation really started a few months ago when we were experiencing the effects of the wildfires and the high wind advisories, which prompted Southern California and Edison to initiate what's called a PSP event, or a public safety power outage. And I know a lot of us in here were affected by the power outages as well as some of our sites. And so daily, our emergency operations team would come together multiple times a day to kind of get the latest and greatest news, what's going on, who's got power, who doesn't. But the conversation then turned into, you know, what's the next steps? Where do we go from here? How do we become better prepared in the future? Because we understand that these types of events are going to continue to happen, probably, hopefully not more, but we've heard that possibly more. So that's where we're at. That prompted me to reach out to a couple of contractors that we have history with and have worked with in the past. Pardon me. And so specifically, I reached out to SoCal West Coast Electric, and we've kind of partnered in trying to figure out what our needs are and what would be best for specifically Yucaipa High School in this instance. And so as we got together and kind of spoke about our NG project, our Stolberg project that's currently in production, and what we could do to be better prepared, we came up with power storage. It would work best for what we have going on. And so together, you know, back and forth, just conversating over a couple of weeks, trying to create all the calculations and figure out what exactly we need. We found out that a program had recently just been funded, and that we met the criteria to apply. And so we did that. And so that program is the SGIP, or Self-Generation Incentive Program grant. This SGIP is a grant that is designed to incentivize power storage. So it's exactly what we were looking for. The amount that was awarded to us is $3.5 million, which is the max. This power storage will work in conjunction with our solar panels that are already scheduled for construction. And so what would that $3.5 million be used for? Which is power storage, or a BESS, battery energy storage system. And this is actually a picture of the brand and model that, if we move forward, we would receive at Yucaipa High School. It's very similar. Maybe it might not be all lined out like that, but this is what we would want to be purchasing. And so I've had some anticipated questions and questions from cabinet members, so I thought I'd put them up here, and we can welcome more questions when we're done here. But first thing is, you know, what will the BESS do for us? And number one is, when the power goes out during a planned public safety power outage or an unplanned blackout, rolling blackout, whatever you want to call it, we won't lose power. So that's a good thing. And then secondly, we can save energy. We can save money on energy by utilizing the power storage during peak times of the day when we're charged the most for electricity. So if you don't know this, Edison doesn't just charge us a flat fee across all hours of the day. It goes wildly up and down. And so during these peak times, this system, which is very sophisticated, can be programmed to draw just strictly from our power storage during peak times, so that we're not spending, you know, enormous amounts of money during those peak times when we're running air conditioners and everything else. So we're actually not drawing from the grid, so we can save money in that way. So that's the two things that we'd be looking for this BESS system to do for us. And so a couple of questions that I've gotten recently, I thought I'd just head up. Is there a warranty? The answer is yes. The contractor is required through the SGIP grant to offer a 10-year warranty on the BESS system. And then what kind of maintenance? Obviously, I'm going to want to know that. It's actually minimal, what we find out. This BEST system is programmed to essentially maintain itself just through the constant usage and recharging of batteries. So much like a radio battery or any kind of battery, if you leave it on the charger without using it, they typically get less life out of that battery. So this is programmed to be used all the time, which is why we'd be using it during the peak power times. And then typically you can get 10 to 15 years out of the batteries. And then are there any safety requirements? The answer to that is yes, but what's great about this is the BEST contains its own fire suppression system within it. And it also contains inner chillers to maintain core temperature of the batteries. And then finally, does the grant include the cost of construction? The answer is yes. The grant includes the integration into our existing switchgear, and we will also have the ability to add a generator in the future if we so choose to go that route, which would just add extra resilience. So if you guys have any questions, I'm sure you probably do. Dennis can add insight as well, and we'll be willing to take them.
No, you have a question, go ahead.
So when the power goes out and all the internet goes out because of the power going out, does that help the other schools?
So that's kind of a two-sided question. If the internet goes out just at the high school, then we would have the central forgetting the word right now. The main switchgear would be powered up, and we would have internet throughout the district. Now, if it's a PSP event and our internet provider doesn't have power to its equipment, then nobody has the internet. Yeah, but we would still have power, air conditioning, lights. I believe our phone lines would actually work as well. There's a way to make that happen.
Okay, so the air conditioning will work with this?
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
It's designed to when the power goes off, and it would be happening daily, because if it would be programmed to, you literally don't see a glitch. Like the lights don't even flash.
Okay, because I have this at my home with our solar panels, we have a battery. So in January, when everybody was sitting in the dark, we weren't, and it was fabulous. So I really applaud that, but I also want to make a comment. I've either worked as a teacher and been on the board and been involved in the school district for well over 40 years. And I want to applaud your forward thinking and your I wrote it down, yeah, your proactive attitude towards solving problems, because truly there was some great people working here before, but I didn't see this across the board. You guys are awesome. And I think this is how we keep education going. And I love the fact that it also has a potential to save us some money with peak hours and all that kind of stuff. So thank you so much for hustling to get this done. I just really appreciate that.
Well, you're welcome, and without the support of board and cabinet and having a team like Dennis and all business services, like it takes a team. So we appreciate
awesome
that. Yeah, we do.
Across the
We do. Thank you.
Mr. Alvin?
Yes, with respect to the cost of construction, does that cost or the grant that we're receiving also cover the site prep, including all the requirements? Okay, so we don't have to pay for any concrete, we don't have to pay for the labor for that?
That's wrapped into the proposal from SoCal West. So the grant is 3.5. The proposal was 3.6. Per the grant, it can't wash. You have to have a little bit of cost to share. And SoCal West is a SCE approved vendor. So by doing that, that negates the bidding process.
Okay, and one final question. As we all know, if we have solar panels, we got to pay the cheese tax. And are we going to have to pay Edison for any power that goes back into their system like they do with the solar panels that we have at our homes? Or is this a complete standalone And there's no financial accountability to Edison for having this system.
So I believe with the backup energy, the batteries, it's standalone. So at midnight, when the time of use is at its lowest peak, that's when it will trickle charge the batteries. And then we will discharge it during the day, and all that, and then it's a cycle. And then once the solar program gets connected, then that'll tie in and then assist with the battery charging.
So you don't anticipate any feedback going into the grid system?
The only feedback that we may anticipate is when we have the solar connected, and then anything that's over and above, then it will go back to the grid. And then we're with the NEM 2.0. So then I believe we would get 10 cents per kilowatt hour.
Okay, thanks.
I have a quick question. 10 years goes by fast. Have you looked into extended warranties on this? Because it's only a 10-year warranty and the batteries possibly typically last for 10 to 15 years. The cost of new batteries and the extended warranties.
No, not yet, but we definitely will be asking those questions if we decide to move forward.
Okay, awesome.
I'd like to say from a student perspective, I think it's amazing that you guys are doing this, and we really appreciate that you found the problem and you're solving it, and you want to solve it for our students that didn't have power, so we really appreciate that.
So I wanted to clarify also, the 175,000, it's not actually going to cost us anything in the long run. The company SoCal West, I believe.
SoCal West.
Can you kind of clarify that whole process for us?
So with the funding source, so with the application being approved, we had a deadline of 5 days when we were notified, 7 days total to pay the 5% application fee. So what that did is that secured the funding for us to 3.5. SoCal West has offered to do that on the district's behalf due to the time crunch. Now, with that being said, that is 100% refundable if we decide not to move forward. Up until we have the fully executed agreement, we have that gap time to make that decision. And then once that does, the half of the grant, the 1.75 million of the grant, once the project is fully complete and we're connected, then SCE will give the district 1.75 in a rebate. The other half of the rebate will come 2 to 5 years after as data gets transferred over to them so they can see the analysis of what we're using and how we're doing it. The goal is to get that second half of the grant at the 2-year mark.
Okay. So just to clarify, when we learned about the grant and started doing some research, we had this company do this on our behalf, and as Dennis said, they are a preferred Edison provider. So we didn't have to go out for bid for this or anything. Edison is really in charge of that. They pick the people who do the work. So we can't turn around, just for the public's sake, we can't turn around really a $5,000 check in a short amount of time. And so that is why the company said that they could do it on our behalf. And when we, if the board were to authorize this money that is refundable, then it probably wouldn't get paid to them for at least it'll probably be pulled for county audit because we have a very strict system. We would put it in, it would go through the county would look at it, they'd pull it for audit, they would make sure it's okay, that it's all on the up and up. So they probably won't get their money. Could be a month, could be 2. Sometimes it's longer. We have to call and say, hey, but there's lots of checks and balances. So it looks kind of funny to be giving this money ahead of time, but that's why they're going to pay it for us with your authorization if you so choose. And then we'll be working behind the scenes to decide what we can afford. So looking at the money that we need to put out in order to get the project started and the reimbursement and then the delay in the money coming back. We need to do a cost benefit analysis. We need to look at our budget and make sure that we can find those dollars. But if we're unable, we will come back and tell you that, but we wanted to make sure that we have the opportunity to have the time to think about it.
Good. Anything else? Any other questions? Hearing no more discussion, can I get a motion for approval on item number 9.07?
I'll move.
And a second. With the first from Avila and a second from Bannister, all those in favor? Chair votes aye, motion passes. 5-0 vote. Good work, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Moving on to 9.08, purchase of classroom desks for Valley Elementary School. I understand the funding on this is side funded. Okay, any questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, can I get a motion for approval?
So moved.
And can I get a backup on that? All right, and a second?
I'll second.
Well, the first from student board member, Mr. Breyer, and with a backup on Bannister, and a second from Cruz. All those in favor? Motion passes on a 6-0 vote. Chair votes aye. 9.09, architectural services for Division of State Architect closeout process. Anyone have any discussion or question on this item? Hearing none, can I get a motion for approval?
Move approval.
And a second?
A second?
With a first and a second from Bannister and Cruz, all those in favor? The chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to 9.10, 9.10, inspector of record.
Move approval.
Can I get a second on that one?
I second.
Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, can I, with a motion from Bannister, I believe, and a second from Cruz? Can all those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to 9.11, second review for revised board policy.
Move to approve.
Can I get a second? Any discussion or on this one item? All right, hearing none. With a motion, first from Avila and a second from Miller, all those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Item 9.12, resolution adult education week. Can I get a motion for approval on this?
Move approval.
And a second?
A second.
With a first from Bannister and a second from Cruz, can all those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to 9.13, consultant agreement from San Bernardino County Superintendent Schools. Do I have any questions or comments on this one? Hearing none, can I get a motion for approval? And a second?
A second.
First from Miller and a second from Cruz. All those in favor? Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote on 9.13. Moving on to 9.14, consultant agreement restorative best practices. Do I have any discussion or information on this one? Yeah.
I'd like to point out that Green Valley High School and Oakview both have what we call equity multiplier funds, and that's why these are exclusive to the Valley's chosen to use their money in the previous money this way.
Okay, all questions on that? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion for approval on item 9.14? And a second?
Second.
The first from Cruz and a second from Bannister. All those in favor? Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to 9.15. Resolution National School Librarian Day. Can I get a motion for approval?
So moved.
And a backup?
I'll back up.
And a second? With a motion from student board member, Mr. Breyer, a backup from Cruz and a second from Miller, right? All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 6-0 vote. Going on to 9.16, the resolution for National Nurses Day. Can I get a motion for approval on this?
Move approval.
And a second?
Second.
And a backup? Second. First from Bannister, second from Breyer, and a backup from Cruz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 6-0 vote. Moving on to 9.17. That is the resolution for school lunch hero day. Can I get a motion for approval on 9.17?
Move approval.
And a second?
Second.
I got you. And a first from Bannister, a second from Breyer, and a backup on Cruz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes on a 6-0 vote. 9.18, the revised 26-27 academic calendar school year. I understand this is just one day ahead of wrong color. All right, any questions on that? All right, second?
Second.
Okay, first by Avila, second by Bannister. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes on a 5-0 vote. Moving on to 9.19, the CSEA Chapter 209 tentative agreements. Can I get a motion for approval on that one?
Move approval.
And second? Second. First from Bannister and a second from Miller. All those in favor? Aye. Chair votes aye, passes on a 5-0 vote. And 9.20, the classified management, confidential certified administrative and senior management salary increase. Can I get a motion for approval on that one? And a second?
Second.
First from Bannister and a second for Cruz. All those in favor? Aye. Mr. Allen?
Oh, aye.
Yep, and the chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to consent calendar, number 10, does anyone need to pull any item for consideration from the consent calendar? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar? Yep, with the first from Avila and a second from Bannister, all those in favor? Aye. And the chair votes aye, consent calendar passes with 5-0 votes. Right, informational proposal section, with 11.01, does anyone have any questions or comments for 11.01? Hearing none, we'll move on to 11.02. Do you have any questions or comments for this one? None, any information, none? All right, 11.03. Questions or comments? Business services first review, revised board policy, emergency schedules. Hearing none, moving on to 11.04, receive revised administration regulation 3100, this is budgeting. Any questions or comments on this item? Discussion. 11.05, honors English language arts instructional material options, superintendent.
Yes, I believe that we do have, I'm turn it over to Dr. Anderson because I do believe we have someone who's going to speak to this item and then she can talk, Dr. Anderson can talk about the process.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite up Ms. Angie Buck from Yucaipa High School, who is our Honors English 9 teacher who helped in our instructional materials adoption process for this text.
Hi, good evening. I have prepared a little bit of information which may actually prevent you from needing to share much more information. If you've ever met me before, you know I'm pretty thorough. So good evening. Let's try that. All right, also first long time listener, first time caller. Let's be gentle, okay? You know. Also, I'm really nervous, and you know that, for example, because you were in my classroom and I talked about liking to talk to 14-year-olds and not liking to talk to adults.
Jennifer 14.
Yeah, I'm 14.
I can believe some of that for some of you guys. All right, here we go. Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Banks, and members of cabinet. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight about the English language arts honors 9 textbook adoption. My name is Angela Buck, and I am a teacher at Yucaipa High School. I've taught 9th grade English at YHS for 11 years, including several sections of honors of the honors classes every year since beginning there. I'm also currently the English department chair. The history behind the adoption is that the honors classes feed into not only our AP programs, but also our dual enrollment and our other college preparation programs. We have not previously had a dedicated honors 9 text before, and so teachers have predominantly been responsible for creating ancillary materials and vertically aligning with colleagues to prepare students for our more advanced courses. That means our regular classes and our honors classes have traditionally used the same textbook. The publisher that is the publisher that we utilize for our AP classes for 11th and 12th grade. In the last few years, they created a 10th grade book to align with that 11th and 12th grade material, and they call that a pre-AP text. When we adopted that text at the high school, there was not a 9th grade version of that text available, and that has changed since then. So we developed a pilot team, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that now. The team consisted of 3 teachers. We have 3 teachers who predominantly teach the English 9 honor sections. And so over the last 3 semesters, we have piloted both the online and the physical textbook version. They were 2 different versions of the text. We have received the paper copy, and then they had updated their edition for the online version. And so 2 of our teachers had the ability to utilize the physical textbook as well as the online version, and one of our teachers piloted solely the online version. The team used, and here's I'm thinking about you, Josh. Here's my big clunky paragraph I got for you, okay, ready? The team used curricular requirements aligned to the guidance and evaluation criteria in the English Language Arts Curriculum Framework, as specified by the California Toolkit for this course as criteria for the evaluation tool to review the piloted material, to ensure it is designed to meet the goals of all students specific to our district's needs. Once we reviewed the text, we were able to get feedback from our students and we utilized a scoring tool in order to kind of, in order to see whether or not it was meeting our students' needs. So as we went through that process, we identified some strengths. We found that the text is designed in a way that builds foundational skills and then applies those foundational skills throughout later activities throughout the text. It includes questions and activities for all levels of students to help them develop understanding. And it's actually printed in the textbook instead of being located in a separate book or a separate flash drive somewhere else, which is really nice. And those of you guys who are teachers know that. In addition to that, multiple pages, guys, come on. Yeah, I was prepared. So, okay, I'm halfway through. The text prioritizes making the content appealing, which is also really nice, and accessible for students. It includes a lot of relevant and engaging graphics and infographics and a lot of material that's like kind of more modern material that relates to the older texts, which is kind of nice to help bring those ideas together for students, and they can kind of see, this is not part of the notes, this is just me thinking, but they can kind of see where like you have these kind of classic texts and how they can like these ideas overlap with things that they're thinking about, they're talking about now, even things they're seeing like on the news or they're reading about on their own, which is really cool to see those connections. It also has a really versatile literature selection that personally was very important to me to find a text that had all of my anchor text in it, as well as having a variety of supporting materials. Those of you guys who know me know I'm pretty picky. I actually like the textbook. And I found that it really helped to make those meaningful connections between the modern text and I mean, we read Homer and we were able to connect Homer and Shakespeare to some modern ideas. And so it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. It also contains some annotated supportive materials such as clarifying side notes, definitions, and explanations. And again, they're embedded in the text. There are a couple limitations of the text. The design and the layout of the text is formatted a little bit on the awkward side. And this is feedback that we have actually provided for the textbook publisher already. The students commented on the way that some of it's printed in columns, and sometimes the students found that to be a little bit awkward, especially when you're ending like one reading and you're beginning another reading, and sometimes you'll get these like really short little columns, and my kids were like, gonna go down, no, you're gonna go back up and you're gonna read this portion and then we're gonna go down to the next part. So they found that a little bit confusing sometimes. And then there were some pictures and graphic, there was a graphic novel in particular that they found distracting because it was kind of like planted right in the middle of a story. But I mean, it's like a 1,200 page textbook. So if those are the big complaints, that's really not too bad. There were some inconsistencies from the textbook to the online version, which we communicated that to the publisher. And then the audiobook feature seems to be computer generated, so it lacks the pacing and tone that's expected of a human reader. That can be challenging in comprehension, but I'll just read to my students. They love the sound of my voice. And then the teacher resources on the web interface and the supplemental flash drive could be difficult to navigate, but it's also only the second edition of the textbook. So what we know is that many times as these things continue to appear in different iterations, that they improve and that they kind of work out some of those kinks that they had in the first place. So all that being said, we use the District Lens evidence-based criteria evaluation tool, and we scored it. And the scoring was out of 156 total points. I believe that the report that my team has prepared is actually attached to the agenda, so you may have been able to preview that already. The text scored 120 out of 156 points. And this was derived through evaluating the student understanding of the text as well as the teacher support for the piloted material. These scores individually were 61 out of 78 and 59 out of 78 respectively. So on both sides, they had a pretty high score. The overall recommendation of the English Language Arts Honors Adoption Team is to adopt this text, but to ensure that there's going to be further training and support from the publisher. Are there any questions that I can answer for anyone? Yes, ma'am. Oh, wait, I don't get to call on you. I'm sorry. I'm so used to doing it.
Yes, you are 14. Yes. First of all, love your presentation. Thank you, Jeff. So it says here that we can look at the books. I believe they're right out front, right?
That's true.
Until May 13th. So if it's adopted, can we start next year?
Oh,
yes.
So the process would be to bring it to 2 board meetings. So the next board meeting, we would bring it in May for final approval from the board. And then we're doing this now in order to order and have materials here by the beginning of the school year and set up training for our teachers before the end of the school year.
I love it. It sounds great. Thanks.
I didn't write the book, I just came to talk about it.
Anybody else?
Priscilla.
Oh,
Priscilla.
They didn't pay me or anything.
Everybody always says, what are they doing with the lottery funds? Well, there's something right there. They do have the lottery funds, so there you go.
Are there any other questions that maybe been answered for anyone?
I would just like to thank Ms. Buck and knowing her for 11 years now and being involved in the Law and Public Safety Academy as well. She's amazing, but she is very clear and thorough, and she does have very high standards. So as a recovering high school English teacher,
I actually have the book in my house right now, so I took a pretty good look at it. I like it as well. I thought I remember seeing she pointed it out to me.
The cartoon in the middle of Castle Amontillado,
That was very.
they were complaining about it so much.
No, I like the layout too, and I thought it was pretty interesting. You could tie it over into more stuff too as well.
I will tell you, this is not entirely on topic, but I had a friend who has been doing the Odyssey for a number of years and I was very intimidated by it. And in the last 2 years, I've been using our California collections and our honors textbook, and it got to the point where my students who are not in the honors section said, can we just read this version? Because it's more complete, it's more detailed, it's better, it's like grittier. And they were just like, we don't even want to read the California collections anymore. And I was like, okay, my Law and Public Safety Academy students who generally don't always relish reading all that much. They'd rather be like, putting out a fire, bandaging somebody up, performing CPR. You guys know, you were there, you saw it. And they were like, we want this textbook. And I was like, I'm gonna tell the school board that. That's what I said, so.
All right, we good? Anyone else? Yeah.
All right, thank you. And then just real quick, thank you guys very much for showing up for our Hide and Go Save Day. We do have Disaster Day coming up, so if you thought Hide and Go Save was cool, come back for Disaster Day.
Yeah, absolutely. It was pretty cool. Very, very cool event.
We worked really hard and our students are tremendous. I can't say enough about them. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Have a good night.
All right, anything else, Dr. Anderson? Okay, any other questions on that one? Okay, moving on to, yes, well done. That puts us at, I lost my place.
11.06.
11.06, so that would be information on the advanced placement statistics instructional materials. Do you have any information?
Mr. Fernandez, who is currently our advanced placement statistics teacher, also teaches adult school. So he's teaching right now, so he's not able to attend.
That one's out there too, in case anybody wants to take a look at it. It's a lot more confusing. Yeah, any other questions on this one? Okay, moving on to 11.07, revised administration regulation. Any questions or discussion on this item? Seeing none, moving on to 11.08. Revised regulation, non-discrimination harassment. Any questions or discussion on this item? Okay. 11.09, educational services receive revised administration regulation 5145.7 sexual harassment. Any questions or discussion on this item?
President Bogue could just give information on why we're bringing these back.
Yes.
We brought back these policies because we had to provide updated information on our contact information. And so that was why we're bringing it back.
Thank you. And that puts us at 11.11, right? Or timeline, I'm sorry, 11.10, revised 5145.71 Title IX sexual harassment complaint procedures. Any discussion on this one? Questions? And 11.11, new administrative regulation 4117.11 pre-retirement part-time employment. Questions or discussion on this item? All right, that brings us to board superintendent communications and additional administrative information.
Thank you, President Vogue. There were quite a few resolutions on the agenda. Adult education and librarians and nurses and lunch heroes. And it's just amazing that, when you really think about and listening tonight, all the work that goes on and all the partnerships that goes on to provide a supportive environment. And that includes our Board of Education. Probably the general public wouldn't always know the work that goes in behind the scenes, additional meetings, going over agendas ahead of time, meeting with me one-on-one, not always fun, but I try. and just, keeping abreast of everything that's going on. Our board does so much of that. Joshua, our student board member, Mr. Breyer. He is very good at keeping abreast, as you could tell by his presentation that he's done on our school sites this year, and we so appreciate it. He also is working hard on policies and will meet this week to work on the student board member policy a little bit, which leads me to introduce, or at least I won't introduce you, but I'll just say we have 3 of our Yucaipa High School students here who are interested in the student board member position. You can wave and smile. And I think it's great that they're here. And I know Mr. Breyer had made some suggestions to do a junior senior position so that there's a lot of continuity in the handoff. And so we wanted to make sure you recognized our students and knew why they were here. But I just want to thank everyone who put so much in effort to not only be here, but then to participate, our bands, our teachers that are here. It's a long day and we just appreciate it. So thank you to the board as well.
Okay.
I would like to recognize our teachers and our school teams, including our administrators and classified staff and others certificated, and we're entering the season of state testing. So things start getting serious and getting real at our school sites, and I just appreciate all of the support and also our technology team and prepping for that. Thank you.
Yeah, earlier tonight, the board approved item 9.19. That was the tentative agreement with the California School Employees Association. And I just want to not only appreciate the board's support on that, but also appreciate our colleagues with the CECA. Had obviously a good opportunity to work with them and their negotiations team, in particular, President Michelle Acosta and Vice President Brandy Gardner. They're a great group to work with. Appreciate their collaboration and work with us and the district team. On the district team, on our side was myself, Joe Mead and Kathy Pearson. It was a great group altogether, and just appreciate everybody's work on that. So thank you.
All right, moving on to board member comments, Mr. Breyer, anything additional?
Yeah, so like our wonderful superintendent was speaking about, I'm very excited to implement a secondary student board member, and I'm very excited to meet all of our candidates and work through the process of picking the best one. And I really wanted to make sure that as I leave the position, I leave it better than I found it. And so I really wanted to grow and build and set precedent for the position, and so that when I'm gone, it'll be even better than I'm doing right now. And I know that most of the best candidates for this position are very busy with school and other activities. So I think adding another student board member is going to make it so that the student board member position can do a lot more throughout the district, which I would love to see.
Thank you. Board member Audible.
Well, this is a shout out to Parkview Middle School. I had the pleasure of seeing their performance at the pre-festival shows this year at Mesa View Middle School. And it says here that the music program is growing under the direction of Mr. Stockman and Mr. Bada. On a personal note, I used to take music in school, and listening to these bands, I felt that they were not just being taught the music or the score at the basic level. You know, you can play for release at very basic to a very complicated, level that Beethoven intended. But these guys are somewhere above the basics. So it was impressive. Middle school kids actually playing relatively complicated pieces throughout the performance, and I was very, very impressed.
Board member Cruz.
I wanted to congratulate board member or student board member Breyer. He has done a phenomenal job ever since I've sat on this board, and I am wowed with everything that you have brought to us. And don't think you're filling big shoes, because you have whoever is with him has your own independent shoes to bring to the table. So with that being said, I wanted to also talk about Parkview. Parkview has a special place in my heart. That's where my daughter was attended with, and it was a while back. It was with Principal Tucci, and I see him in the audience. And it was Assistant Principal Mead. So, they've grown up and, bigger and better things. And I remember those school musicals and band. My daughter was in band with Mr. Stockman. I don't know if he's still here. But they are doing great things continuously under great leadership as well. With awesome field trips to the LA Science Center. I wish I was invited because is the space shuttle still there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, I hear a nod. Yeah, next time, let me know. I'll be a kid that day. And then also all of the great enrichment programs that you guys are continuously doing. My daughter had a great time there and you guys continue all the great work. I don't know if the teachers of the year are still around, but I just wanted to note what great jobs that they are doing, and also the band honorees. Congratulations to all of you out there, maybe still in the parking lot. But congratulations, and I wish you a happy Easter.
Board Member Bannister?
Yeah, well, this is one of the subjects of Parkview, which I opened Parkview.
Hey,
Yeah,
congratulations.
so Parkview is definitely near and dear to my heart. And I understand you have now a photography class. That is amazing. So that's a wonderful thing. And the other thing here, and this ties into my love for Cry Rock, you've got a builders club. So giving an opportunity for those kids, the photography does it as well. Those kids that like to do things, like to mess with things, like to take things apart and put them together. And you know, as a teacher, that just irritated me. But as a parent, it's wonderful. So thank you very much, Parkview, for continuing to grow your program. Awesome. And congratulations to everybody that we recognized tonight. You always do such a good job of giving us an opportunity to see all the wonderfulness that's going on here.
Right, Clerk Miller.
Okay, just a few things. It was a pleasure to have the Teachers of the Year, the honorees. I know a few of them, and I just think it's a wonderful opportunity to let them shine because they're doing a great job. As I whispered to Serena Biggs, you should have got it long ago, and I feel that for all teachers, I just think it's a great opportunity just to shine. Also, the stars presentation, I appreciated that because I didn't realize all that they did. And it's great for the students that have to stay out there, so I appreciate that. Congratulations to the honor band students, and then Mr. Breyer, I wrote this before you said it. I wrote that your reports are really good, really great, and you've stepped it up a lot this year. So you definitely left it better than you found it. So I appreciate it. I also want to thank everybody here on this board. I had a rough day today. Thank you. Love you.
All right, I would like to give a shout out to Melissa Levesque. She got us a visiting author. I believe that was probably the first one we've had. And maybe one other one. I did not get to go. I couldn't find this out, but she told me all about that, and that's pretty wonderful. And she was able to get all of those students in there to talk to an author, and they could engage with someone who actually wrote a book, and it was pretty amazing. The law and public safety event that I got to attend was well put together. The volunteers were fantastic. The input that they gave about our students was top notch. They said that our kids are ready. They will hire our children or our young adults because of the preparation that our law and public safety program has done. So kudos to you guys. Right on. I can't wait for the next one. So let's make sure I don't miss it. Somebody help me with that. So, and then congratulations to all of the people that we did honor this evening. And welcome to the young ladies in the front. And I just want to give a shout out to Joshua's mom. Because she not only has raised this wonderful young man, but there was someone before him that also did this. And I don't know anything about him, but I do know that you're amazing and you have raised two wonderful young men, and congratulations, they are wonderful. And from what I hear about the other ones. So,
I agree. We have a lot of help.
Don't we all? Yes, for sure. That is all I have. So we can go to adjourn at 8:21 this evening. I'm so sorry. I need to take back that. I need to go on to the memorial adjournment. My apologies. I had it up. Give me a second. We do have to adjourn in memoriam this evening. In memory of Robin Lucero. Robin Lucero served as a certificated substitute from August 2021 to December 2024, and then as an intermediate clerk at Mesa View Middle School from December 2024 through February 2025. Robin passed away on March 1st, 2025. We would like to adjourn in memoriam for with Robin Lucero in our hearts and minds. Meeting is adjourned.